Hi, welcome back to the Jack and Glenn channel. I'm Jackie.
I'm her husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn.
Before we get started with this review, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss any of our reviews.
That's right.
And today we're doing Ready to Love.
Ready to Love has started again.
Ready to Love has started again. They're in H-Town, Houston. What's up?
And Houston for real this time.
Yeah,
because they had Houstonians last time, but they were in Atlanta.
Yeah, they was in Atlanta, but this time they're in Houston for real.
Well, Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia last time, Houston this time.
Yeah.
So, H-Town. So, hey, let's get cracking.
All right. So
let's meet these contestants.
The singles.
The singles. They still contestants, but they single contestants.
Yeah. So we start with Dietrich, I think he said.
Yeah, Dietrich.
It looks like Dietrich, but Dietrich. Dietrich. All right, and so we got another chef. Remember, we had chefs last season. So Dietrich's a chef. He's 47 years old, and we find out he's a grandfather.
Yeah, he a grandpa.
He a papa.
He don't look like he's 47 years old though.
Nah, he definitely don't look like nobody granddaddy.
He don't look like nobody granddaddy. Well, I guess granddaddies are getting younger these days.
Yeah, I mean, 47, that's probably par for course, depending on how old the grandchild is.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and so after Dietrich comes in, Stacy comes in, Miss Stacy.
Yeah, Stacy comes in.
She's 39 and she's an insurance owner.
Yep.
And what we learned from her is that she was in a relationship for 17 years. So she said she doesn't really know how to date anymore.
That's a long time. When she said it, I was like, good God.
Yeah.
Now, what caught me was a relationship, not a marriage.
Yeah, she didn't say marriage, she said relationship.
And I was sitting here like, dog, you dated somebody for 17 years and they never asked a question?
Ain't no way.
Ain't no way in the world.
I'm gonna say some of them years they had to have been married, if not all of them.
Some of the years might have been off and on.
That's true. That's true.
That's true. But anyway, Stacy wasn't married. She just was in a relationship for 17 years.
All right, and so then we got the other D, David.
David. Yeah,
David is 44. He's a real estate agent. And he says, in my spare time, my side job, I officiate weddings.
Now, he didn't say he was a minister, elder, or anything else. He just said he officiate weddings. Now, we find out a little bit later that David does go to church. Because I'm going to say he a church boy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just he may not be a licensed minister or whatever, but I guess he is licensed if he does weddings. So he officiate weddings. Mm-hmm. So David's 44 years old, real estate, and officiate weddings on the side. Yeah. For a side hustle. That's a great side hustle.
He said he's open to whatever God has for him.
He officiate weddings but can't get married and be in a relationship himself.
Well, I mean, we don't know what the problem is. We'll find out as that goes along. Next, we're introduced to Vernicia. And Vernicia is 39 years old. She's a salon owner. And
she bottom heavy.
Yeah, she is. She is. Anyway, she's got a nice shape. All the guys remark
about Vernicia's shape.
They say something about her shape.
They all talk about her shape.
She said she doesn't really have a type.
No.
It's just attraction. And she said, and if he smells good, ooh wee. And we find out that Vernicia has kids, which is actually 3 daughters. She has 3 daughters, and one of them is 19.
One of them is 19 years old. So she got some old kids.
Mm-hmm. She's got older kids.
So.
All right. So after Vernicia, we are introduced to Troy. And Troy is the oldest of the crew.
Yeah, Troy.
And he seems to be the most experienced, the most flirtatious.
Yeah, Troy's 51 years old. He's an old man.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here doing calculations, right? I'm like, man, Troy hook up with some of these people on the show. He almost their daddy.
Well, yeah.
He a couple people daddy. So, hey, I don't know. I don't think Troy can last long.
I don't know. He's a regional manager, and he said he's been told he's got a lot of confidence, borderlines on arrogance. He said, but he's not arrogant.
Borderline arrogance, probably a little bit of narcissistic.
Don't do that. We're not going to start that. But he said he has traveled extensively. He's a traveler, so he's looking for somebody that's going to be traveling with him. All right. So then we're introduced to Chris. Chris, which is short for chrysanthemum.
Say that 3 times.
Chrysanthemum.
Chrysanthemum.
I had son went to school with a little girl with the same name.
Chrysanthemum.
Yes.
Yeah, and she said if you cannot say that after 3 tries, you better call her Chris.
Just stick to Chris.
Just call her Chris.
Yeah, don't embarrass yourself.
Don't embarrass yourself. Chrysanthemum. And we see my man, I think it was David, he just covered straight out Chris. He just said Chris. He didn't even say chrysanthemum. He just said Chris. Like, okay, I'm not even going to try.
She's 39 and she's a flight attendant. Okay?
Yeah.
We see her later having a conversation with one of the guys. And she says she has lived in the same place all her life.
All her life.
But she did let us know that she grew up in Italy. She's half Italian.
Half Italian.
Okay. But I want to know what place she's talking about she's lived in all her life.
Probably Houston.
Is it Italy?
Probably, no.
She said she grew up in Italy. But she's a flight attendant, so she says, you know, she don't be home that much anyway.
Yeah, that's the bad. I don't know. You looking for love and you a flight and you ain't never home. It's hard. It is hard. That's difficult. I'm sorry. It's difficult. You gotta be at home to create a love triangle. Not a triangle.
I know triangle.
You gotta be at home to create some love.
We don't want no love.
We want no love triangle. So you're gonna be at home to create some love and some relationships. So
yeah. All right, and then we're introduced to another guy. It's AJ, and he is 38 years old, dark skin, bald head, got the beard going on, and a lot of the ladies when they see him,
they stop in their tracks.
Chocolate City.
They stopped in their tracks for AJ, the music producer. They were like, hold up, who's this right here?
Yeah, they did. But we find out something about him.
With his milk dud looking head.
Don't do that. But he's a music producer. He says he's dated a lot, but he just hasn't been able to find a solid connection. So he's looking for that solid connection. We find out about AJ that he's been producing music for the past 15 years. Yep. He picked up music a little bit late, but once he got into it, you know, he's into it. And we saw him playing the keyboard or piano.
Play the piano. Play the piano, write music.
And one thing we also learned is AJ doesn't have any kids. He doesn't have any children.
No kids.
All right. Next, we have Miss Liz. And Miss Liz is 40, and they just listed her as a CEO. We don't know if CEO of what, but
she funny, though.
She's a CEO.
She funny.
Yeah,
just in her side interviews or what you want to call the vignettes, Liz is funny. That's somebody that you know she's going to give you a good time. She jokes.
Oh, yeah.
She jokes a lot, so.
Oh, yeah. So, we see Liz talking to my man David, the wedding officiant.
Yeah.
And she says she's been in ministry all her life. She was in that gospel singing group. And so David was like, oh, let me find out. You ready to sing right now on the spot? You gonna sing? And so she did.
That's how you know she's a singer. That's how you know she's a singer, because he said you're gonna sing on the spot. She didn't hesitate. She's like, okay, cool.
She did a little bit.
But she sung. She
was like, what am I gonna sing? He was like, why don't you sing God Has Smiled on Me? And she was like, you gonna sing with me? And so they did. They sang together a little bit.
Everybody stopped and looked.
Yeah, I was like,
and they started talking about, they got a little connection, a little church connection. They started talking about their gospel groups, Commission, Hezekiah Walker, what else? John P. Key, some other people that they liked and they enjoyed. And, you know, David brought up the choir era, showed his age a little bit.
Yeah, he's like, let me find out.
Let me find out. So they had a conversation. So they might hook up. We might see the church folk get together.
That'd be nice. I hope we don't see them fall up in bed. That wouldn't be a good look. But anyway.
Yeah, that's a whole different story. That's a whole different video itself. Man.
All right.
Church folks be screwing.
So then we see Khalil. Khalil comes in. Khalil is 41. And when he walked in, my husband was like, well, okay, let me back up. Before they say his age, when he walked in, my husband was like, look at this old man.
He walked in like an old dude. Like he was really old. So I'm like, yo, he's old.
Yeah.
Why you got this old guy on here?
No, he's only 41.
He's only 41.
And he said he's a teacher of math and science.
Smart dude.
And he says he's gotten in relationships sometimes that might have been considered toxic. He had an issue with that. And so what he's looking for is a smart and a supportive woman. He's looking for.
Hope he finds that.
Yeah, I hope he does.
I hope he does.
Next we see Tressa.
Yeah,
so just like we had Ready to Love last season, we had a couple of chefs. Season before that, we had a comedian. So now we got another female comedian.
Yeah, we had Shima.
We had Shima.
Yep.
Yep. And so now we have Tressa. She's a comedian and she's an entrepreneur. And she meets Khalil a little bit. She was like, you know, he seemed like a real intelligent guy, but the swag is missing.
He missing something. It ain't for her.
But anyway, so then
he started asking silly questions. So he started saying something silly. It was like, why?
Yeah.
Like he wasn't even paying attention to it. Like, come on, dog. If you're in this environment, you're trying to meet and mingle with all these women. You gotta bring your best foot. Mm-hmm. You gotta step out there. You gotta bring your tight game.
Absolutely. You
gotta be tight with it. So he wasn't. She was turned off quickly by Khalil.
Yeah. Next, we're introduced to Kyra. Mm-hmm. She's a 34-year-old attorney, and she came with that fitted green dress on that caught some guys' eyes.
Caught everybody's eye because it was fitted and it was a little tight. I mean, it was tight and it was a little short.
And it was pretty emerald green.
Emerald green.
So that's going to attract attention too.
I wonder if she wore that to the courthouse.
No. Absolutely not. Because it had a little cutout with the bosoms.
Maybe never know.
No, she knows.
Get somebody's attention at the courthouse.
Anyway, she said she's had to deal with a lot of clowns in the past.
Probably wasn't she defended.
I don't know, a lot of clowns in the past. And her thing is she's all about being pursued. She gonna express interest, but she was like,
She got pursue me a little, bring me a little something back. So it shows she's got a little bit of old school flavor in her. She doesn't want a guy who's just there. Or she has to do all the work. She wants some guy to put in a little bit of work for her. So, look, I'm not mad at her. I'm not mad at her at all. Hey, if you want something, go pursue it.
Yep. And so, then we're introduced to our second teacher, Jason. Jason is 36, and he's a teacher. And like we said, Kyra caught his attention. He was like Khalil was trying to run, put the line on Kyra, and Jason straight snatched her away. Like, let me talk to you over here with this green dress on.
Yeah, and Khalil just stood there like, wow. What just happened? He didn't know what just happened. He's like, what just happened? So
yeah, and so before we're introduced to the other contestants, for lack of a better word, the rest of the cast, participants,
singles,
we find out Tommy said, have you noticed it's supposed to be 10 guys and 10 girls? Mm-hmm. And he was like, have you noticed it's only 9 guys?
9 guys.
And they're like, well, we didn't even notice because I'm sure they was just talking. They wasn't counting. And so he was like, surprise, surprise. We had a participant last season that they felt like got the short end of the stick. A lot of people felt like he got the short end of the stick. He got eliminated unnecessarily. Mm-hmm. And so they bringing back our man KG Smooth, Chris.
KG Smooth Chris. I guarantee Chris won't answer no questions about no mortgage this time.
Nah, man.
And he won't
not about finances.
And I guarantee he won't just stick with one person. KG Smooth is going to work the room this time.
Yeah, he made a point to say, I'm going to make as many connections as possible. And Tommy said, I'm giving you the second chance. Ain't going to be no third chance, bruh.
Ain't going to be no third chance. But one thing I said about it, everybody, I think got pressure because everybody was like, Chris needed another shot. People started voting in. People started writing in. People started doing social media. Like, hashtag give Chris a second chance. Mm-hmm. And it worked.
Yeah.
I know this ain't the show, but you know what? On Married at First Sight, there's your hashtag give Paige a second chance. But anyway.
They might do that for her. Remember they did one season.
So.
Anyway, so Chris said he's ecstatic to be back, and Stacy was excited to see him.
A lot of people was excited to see Chris, man.
And he came in smooth with that tangerine suit on. Yes, sir.
So, hey, Chris may have a shot. He may find love.
Let's see. So Tommy breaks it to him that 2 people going home tonight.
2 people.
2 people going home.
2 people got to go home.
Yeah, so you better do a lot of mixing and mingling and getting to know folks. And so that's what they start to do. So that's when we meet Joel. Joel's 42. He's a drilling fluid engineer. And we find out that he is from NOLA. He's from New Orleans, Louisiana.
And you can hear when he talk, baby.
Yeah, when he say that baby.
That baby.
Yeah.
That baby. You know what I'm saying? That baby. That baby look good, baby.
Yeah. And we see him talking to Vernicia.
Yes.
Yeah, he's talking to Vernicia. How long's he been in the area? He says he's been there 2 years. Mm-hmm. And that's when we find out about Venetia's kid. Yeah. And so we find out that Joel has 2 children as well.
2 children.
He's got twins, a boy and a girl twin.
And then he lost his wife.
And yes, he lost his wife. And so he said, he's come a long way. He had a hard grieving process. Yeah. So getting through that process, it was hard for him to date. Which, of course, it makes sense. You're grieving your wife. Mm-hmm. and you still have to raise these kids.
Kids.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sure it's been hard.
Again, he's a single father. You know, it's hard on the guys. The guy, you got a girl, young boy, and a girl. And not that you just end up with one kid, you ended up with two. So your whole life just changed. Now the person that was helping you out and assisting you no longer there. And you got to be able to manage. And then, like I said, we don't know what his job actually entails. But I do probably seem like it entails a lot of hours. When you talk about drilling, when you talk about drilling anything, that's a lot of hours. So now you got to find somebody to take care, watch your kids. So Joel's got a lot going on.
Yeah, I think the one thing is he did say he's a drilling fluid engineer. So he's probably not doing the drilling.
Yeah, drilling, but you know, designing how to and the procedure. And so still got to be on site. Oh,
yeah, absolutely. Then next we're introduced to Ronald. And Ronald is a 40-year-old regional salesman. And he was one of the ones that said up front, I'm intimidated. They let Chris back. Yeah, he's coming in like a local celebrity, kind of feeling like he's got an advantage over the other guys. Kind of, maybe a little bit. Because besides the fact that Chris is a radio personality, so people probably know him from that anyway. Then he's getting the celebrity from being on the show before.
People loved him. He was likable.
Definitely a cool dude.
The way that he went home with Naya, so I mean, guys could be intimidated, but I'm like, Ronald, why? It's 10 women here, dog. Chris only could have one. So what you intimidated for? It's not like he can get all 10.
In the end, he can have one, but he is not going to focus on one because that was the death to him last time.
At the end, he can have one, but I'm saying is he can focus on all of them. You just got to make sure your game is tight.
That's right.
Don't be scared of competition.
Nah.
You know, come on, dog.
All right, so next we meet Miss Alexis. She's 35 and she's a news producer.
Yeah.
And we find out that she knows Jason.
Yeah, she knows Jason.
She knows Jason. She said she used to always see him at school. And at first, this was before they told her she was a news producer. I was like, oh wow, I wonder if she a teacher too. But no, that's not why she knows Jason. She said she would see him and be like, oh, he's so fine. And she was like, but he was my son's basketball coach.
And she didn't have enough nerve to go talk to him.
She didn't. So she was like, I'm going to tell him now.
Because she said she wanted to keep it professional.
Right.
She didn't want there to be any mixes between the coach and the mama. You know, that happens a lot. Mamas begin to like these coaches because coaches begin to have a lot of influence over their kids, spend a lot of time with their kids. But she said she liked Jason and she wanted to handle it. They even showed some pictures of her and Jason together. You know,
with the son.
Well,
and then not just, I mean, you know, it's gotta be odd for the kid. Like, oh man, my mom's messing with my coach. He coming over the house, Coach so and so. Like he just got on me to practice.
It's different, but again, she said she's been crushing on him all the time. She got a nickname, which is Miss Fly.
Alexis Fly.
Alexis Fly.
Yeah, because she likes to dress.
Like she likes to dress. So Alexis Fly. I already like Jason, and she already told Jason, I like you.
Yeah, he said he was flattered. He was like, he felt like she already got a leg up. She's got one up on everybody because he already knows her. And,
Again, my thing to them, try other people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
If it don't work out, I'm sure he ain't going to quit coaching basketball.
No, no.
And her son ain't going to quit playing, so guess what? If it don't work out.
But that's the one thing she said, my son's always, like, that was the first sport that he played. And he was, like, really into basketball. He's still been talking about playing basketball.
So.
Next, we're introduced to Ida. Ida is 37 and she's a development manager. And so, kind of weird. She was like, you know, my name is Ida, but I
before we go there, when we introduced to Ida trips up the steps and steps on her dress.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, she did.
So it's like, we didn't get to really know Ida, but we do know that Ida can't. She was nervous walking up the steps. It almost ripped her dress. So that's one thing we learned from Ida, like, okay, something ain't right here.
Not something ain't right.
Something ain't right here. No, when she was talking, on when the next part you getting ready to go to, something ain't right.
Yeah, she said she grew up being called Vicky. It's not her name.
Nope, not her name.
But she wanted to go by Vicky because of the show Small Wonders.
Now, how many of y'all know what Small Wonders is? I know what Small Wonders is. I used to watch Small Wonders when I was younger.
I don't remember.
And I'm not that much old. I'm not old, but I used to watch Small Wonders, and Vicky was a robot on this show. This man that created a robot. She had a brother. She was a superpower robot because she can lift people up and vacuum and clean and do different things around the house. And she was a superpower robot. Vicky always wore like a red and white type of dress. So the show is called Small Wonders.
Yeah, I don't really remember it. I'm gonna have to check it, look it up.
TV buff, man. TV buff.
I mean, yeah. And so she said she was obsessed with Vicky. And she said even to the point where she went by the name her grandma still calls her Vicky now. She was like, I'm not sure if my grandma knows what my real name is. Why your grandma should know your real name?
I don't know. Grandma might be old.
Still, Lord have mercy. She made a comment to one of the guys, I can't remember who it was, about, oh, look at your ankles, they nicely, oh, it's Christian.
Yes, Christian.
Your ankles are nicely moisturized.
Never
I got
heard
an eye for detail, I see that.
Never heard that before, yo, dog. That's a good pickup line. Your ankles are moisturized.
And then she sees Dietrich and says, oh, you giving me Marvin Gaye vibes. It sounded like she said something else. We had to listen to her a few times.
No, we had to put closed caption on the TV to figure out what she said. I'm sorry, I ain't saying a lot to you. We had to put closed caption.
It sounded like she said you giving me gay vibes. I was like, well, that ain't the way you talk to somebody on a little dating show.
Right, this ain't the way you try to hook up with somebody. But again, she said you're giving me Marvin Gaye.
Marvin Gaye vibes. Like smooth, okay.
Like let's get it on type vibes.
Yeah, she was like, you look okay, all right.
Yeah.
And so few more singles we meet Miss Amber, and Amber is the youngest female.
Yes, she is.
She's 31 years old, and we had one attorney. Now she's a criminal attorney.
And then my man Khalil.
Yeah, he tried to have a conversation with her. Oh, you be putting bad guys in jail? She's like, no. And he was like, oh, you don't be putting nobody in jail? No, I don't put anybody in jail. Or they probably deserve to go. She's like, bro, she was not giving him no play.
But then she asked him, what is your character trait?
What is your flaw?
Yeah, what's your flaw?
What is your flaw, like, that you might have in a relationship? And he's like, mean girls.
Mean girls. No,
She was like, no, something with you. What's going on? He was like,
mean girls.
Yeah, mean girls.
Trying to be funny, but not funny. And like, dog, like, answer the question. First of all, she's an attorney. You know she's an attorney. So she's asking you a question to get an answer. And you're not giving her a clear-cut answer. Not on this show, because, again, she could be the one that's sending you home.
Yep.
So you should be able to play the game, even if you're not interested in her. Answer the question.
Yeah, he just played too much. And the thing about Amber is she was like, I'm an alpha woman. I'm more logical than emotional. So sometimes guys don't really know how I feel about them. Because, they want me to be all, ooh. And she said, that's not me. So she was like, dealing with me, I need a confident man.
Got you. Because look at her job. Female. She's the alpha female. Dog. She go against men all day long. So she needs somebody who will be an alpha man.
All right. And so then we meet, little Christian. He's not little, really. He's 36, but he giving little brother vibes. He really is. When he walked in, he's a mail carrier. He's
a mail carrier. But, again, Christian came in, looking smooth.
Yeah, he said he likes to smile.
He likes to smile, but he don't like to talk.
When he liked to talk, he just seemed like the type of person that kind of got to feel you out.
Singing in the background.
Yeah.
He be singing in the back. He be hiding in the background.
So he said he's never been married before. He doesn't have any children. And he wants to love a woman the way his mother should have been loved, because he said growing up he didn't see that, so he wants to be able to give that to somebody else. He models on the side. He likes fishing. This is what some of the ladies get out of him when they trying to pull information out. Stacy said he's timid, and Kyra called him on it. Come over here. Some of the girls already saying you timid. You gonna have to open up some.
And nobody likes a timid man.
Nah.
Well, these women, I ain't saying nobody. These women that's on this show don't like a timid man. They like a man to be assertive, to be forthright, and to give them what they need.
All right, and then last but not least, we see Andrea. And I don't think they showed, I didn't see her age or her...
They ain't show too much of Andrea.
Her,
not this week.
Career or whatever, but no, we saw quite a bit of her, but we didn't hear a lot about her, except for the fact that she says because of her job, she's a flight attendant. She says that in talking.
Yeah.
Because of her job and her being gone so much, her mom's been watching her cat, caring for her cat. And her cat figured out how to get out of the dog door. So her mom finally told her she hasn't seen the cat.
The same way you feel about us telling about this story, the same way I felt when she was telling this story. And same way AJ felt when he heard the story.
Yeah. It wasn't AJ. It was Dietrich.
Dietrich. Yeah, Dietrich felt when he was heard the story. Like, dog, you talking about a cat?
He was like, it's lost, not dead. You sitting here mourning the cat. You down. You sad. Okay.
I almost didn't leave this morning because
I'm not feeling the cat conversation.
Yeah, we're not. Nobody feeling the cat conversation.
All right, so Tommy has his first meeting informally.
Yeah.
He sits and chats with the women, and he asks the women, "Who is it that you're feeling?" And everybody is like, they're feeling Joel. Mm-hmm. They're liking Jason. Dietrich.
Yes.
And Troy. Oh, I didn't say anything about Troy. I miss Troy.
No, we talked about Troy.
Oh, I did. Yes, I did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Troy's the oldest one on there.
Yes, that's right. Troy. Of course, they like Chris, KG Smooth.
Yeah.
They're feeling David and AJ.
Yep.
Not Khalil. Everybody's getting like a weird vibe from him.
Not Ronald.
They're not feeling Ronald. Christian, again, too timid, too mild-mannered. Mm-hmm. And somebody even said Troy, which some of the other ladies were like, what? Troy? What?
They don't know he's 51.
We find out one thing about AJ. Kyra has dated him before.
Yeah.
She's been on 2 dates with him.
And the second one wasn't a good one.
She said he is absolutely her worst dating experience.
Yeah.
And she says among her friends, he has a nickname, El Cheapo.
El Cheapo.
And that is why the date was the worst. She said they brought the check. She went to the bathroom. She figured when she came back, he would have handled the bill and everything.
Or no, at least looked at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't that he would handle the bill. At least had he picked it up and looked at it. And she noticed that it hadn't been moved or hadn't been picked up at all.
Which doesn't really go with what he said. Because, anyway, her friends know him as El Cheapo. So she has a chance to talk to AJ. He said what it was embarrassing. He wanted to pay for it. Kyra had a tab. He wanted to take care of it before she came out of the bathroom. But his card got declined. His card got declined. And he was like, I guess I'm going to leave it for her to take the bill. But he never said anything.
He never communicated.
But he said he was embarrassed, which I understand.
When you go out on a date, you carry card and cash. Just first of all, you got to make sure you got enough money on your account.
Yeah.
Before you go out on a date with somebody. Make sure you got, And then also you have cash on you. And make sure that you're able to cover the bill. As a gentleman, you got to be prepared at all times.
Well, at least your part.
Well, not even your part.
You want to cover the whole...
I'm not into that, your part. If you're going on a date... I'm going on a date.
I agree. No, listen to what I'm saying. I agree with what you're saying. But what I'm saying is, what if he didn't have enough cash to cover everybody? You know what I'm saying? You should at least have enough cash to cover somebody. Let me say it like that.
Oh, yeah, I give you that. But
if not...
everybody.
If not everybody, pay for hers. You gonna have to go back there and wash the dishes for you, but
you gotta make sure you take care of that. Then she might be able to swing out like, look, my car got declined. I don't know what's going on. Maybe he did know what's going on. I don't know, but you can't go out on a date with a declined card.
Which so, back to the story. She said it looked like he hadn't touched the check, but he said he did his card. Maybe he didn't touch the check. He just gave the waitress his card. Maybe. I don't know. It sounds.
But again,
funny to
you
me.
communicate with that young lady and tell her, you know what, my card declined. I got some issues. I need to call my bank. It could be something. He may have the money. I'm not saying he didn't have the money, but he may have the money. And maybe he spent a lot of money that day and the bank shut his card down.
Maybe.
That happened. I'm not a spender. And so when I use my card too much one day, they were like, hold on for a minute. This can't be right because my spending habits have changed. So.
Oh, and is that when we were out of state?
Yeah, that's when we was out of state.
Man, I was like, bruh, we can't get no food at McDonald's for breakfast on the way home.
What? For real.
But they just did his card, not mine.
We took care of that.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It's crazy.
I'm like, dang. Anyway, so it's time for their first decision. Mm-hmm. Who's gonna go home?
Somebody got to go, though. And the person is Khalil.
Dang, they sent my man home. They should have gave him a chance.
No, sir.
They should have gave him a chance.
No, when you weird.
But he wasn't weird.
The women thought he was weird. The contestants, the individuals, the people that he was talking to, he gave them creepy vibes. He was weird. He didn't connect with anybody.
Yeah, it was just he just seemed like he didn't know how to talk.
He didn't know.
He
wasn't dealing with kids.
He didn't deal with math or science.
Didn't do math or science. So Khalil had to go home.
And before the party's over, somebody else is leaving.
Before the party's over, somebody else has to go. Keep the party going.
All right. One thing I do want to point out, when Tommy went around asking the ladies who you feeling, whatever, a lot of them weren't feeling Christian. And Andrea said, I'm not feeling Christian. I don't have no desire to go talk to him. Next scene, who do we see talking to Andrea?
She wanted to tell somebody about his cats.
Christian.
She wanted to tell somebody about her cats.
Christian.
She needed to tell somebody else about the cats that are lost.
Yeah, and so that doesn't go very well. Like the conversation, she was like, "Oh well, it's somebody I want to see over here. Let me go over here and see about him."
Lying.
No, she did want to go see about somebody else, but that was like, really. She was like, "We got other people to talk to."
Her way out. Way of escape.
Then we see Alexis talking to Troy.
Yep.
She remarks about his necklace. He's a man of God, and she was like, "Oh, that's on the top of my list." She's feeling the vibe with him, and Troy says he sneaks that kiss on the cheek.
Yeah.
That's his thing. He puts the kiss on the cheek.
We find out in the previews Troy likes to kiss.
Apparently so.
Troy likes to kiss.
I don't think that's going to work to be a benefit, Troy. But anyway, so for Ida, Jason's having a conversation with her, and she just talks.
She talks.
And talks.
And talks.
And talks.
I told you something.
And talks.
Something's not right.
Weird. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's Vicky that they're talking to, not Ida.
Yo, dog.
That's what's the not right.
How old we say Ida was?
Let's see. Ida is 37.
At 37 years old, we shouldn't be coming on TV shows using your alter ego. Alter ego.
Alter ego.
Alter ego, yeah.
Yeah.
She's using Vicky. Your name is Ida. Your mama called you Ida. Your daddy called you Ida. Be happy about the name Ida.
They put down a birth certificate, but apparently they call her Vicky too.
Be happy about the name Ida.
I don't know, but she talked and she talked. Jason was like, I'm looking for red flags, and I got a red flag with her. And she talked. He said, I tried to get a couple words in.
Flag on the play.
I managed to get them words in, but then she kept talking over top of it.
Flag on the play, dog. She kept talking.
Yeah. And it just, the conversation, whatever she was talking about, I was like, what?
See, if you didn't understand it, and that was editing. He could tell how he was when he was there. He didn't understand it.
And so, like I said before, Kyra and AJ get a chance to talk over their date, and you know, she was like, you know, I'm all for forgiving a mistake, and he said during this time he wants to make it up to her. He's gonna try to date her and do it right. All right.
And to make sure his car don't decline.
We see Andrea talking to Ronald again. That's when we find out she's a flight attendant. Yep. She's been doing it for 6 years. She loves it. She is interested in having kids. He's interested in having kids too. But the one thing is, Ronald says, well, you know, if you get with me, like, I'm gonna need you to be a traditional wife. She's like, what? So I can't have no career? Like, you want me to be a stay-at-home mom? He was like, I mean, that's the way I prefer it or whatever.
What year is this?
2021.
Come on, Ronald. That's why you ain't got no love yet.
She was turned off by
That's why it's 2021. You can't tell no woman that I need you to be a traditional wife.
Yeah, she was like for the long haul, or just when they're toddlers, infants, or whatever. He was like, I mean, you know.
Even if he has the money to take care of the family, in 2021, women like to be independent. They always want to be independent. She has a career before she met you. You want her to just shut it down? Dog, that doesn't happen. I'm sorry. I understand people who not having work when they have babies, and then eventually go back to the workforce, so they want to spend that time with their babies. I totally understand that. But for you to say, you know what, I want you to shut it down and not be who you are, nah, you can't do that. And we just meeting. It's not even like we married.
That's the thing.
The thing is, we're just meeting.
You introducing this now, bruh. Like, yeah, she was like, I'm turned off.
She turned off now. You're introducing this stuff right now. Not even, y'all ain't been in a relationship or the first date, and you're introducing the. So I think when you at these mixers and at these things, there's certain things you need to talk about. That's not one of them.
Then we see Christian and Kyra talking. It looks like she's trying to give him a chance to have a conversation. Not really. He goes to get her a drink, and she up and disappears.
She dips on him.
She did. She said she was feeling like homey vibes. That's why she wanted to look out for him and say the ladies are saying you're timid. You know, I want to give him a heads up.
What was that? It's Ghost, but Brandon came over. Not Brandon. What's the my man last season came up with a new word?
Oh,
he's zombie.
Yeah, he's zombie.
He wasn't Ghost. He's zombie.
Yeah, she walked away. He had to go find her. But so Tommy talks over with the guys, asks them who you feeling.
Yeah.
They're feeling Alexis. They're feeling Amber. Kyra, Vernicia.
Everybody's feeling Vernicia.
Chrysanthemum, Liz, and Stacy. They're not really feeling Ida, Tressa, or Andrea.
Now, Tressa was a surprise to me.
That they wasn't feeling her?
It was a surprise.
Not me.
I understand Ida because that's the whole weird Vicky situation. I understand Andrea because she's talking about her cats. We didn't see much of Tressa, but her personality as a comedian, I figure she has to have the personality.
She didn't really let it out.
She didn't really let it out there, but you know, she didn't. Well, she didn't go home. So.
Well, yeah, and they weren't feeling her. So Tommy said, and you know, so we ready to cut somebody else and get them together. We ready to cut somebody else, and he lets them know that the person getting cut is another
man, not a woman.
Man. He ain't cutting no woman. He's cutting a man.
Cutting a man, and another man has to go. And guess what? It's the man with the shiny ankles.
Aw, Christian.
The moisturized ankles.
Moisturized ankles.
Christian had to go, y'all.
Oh man, Christian gets the axe. He was like, I was ready to love.
Ow.
You know you hate for the people to go home on a first date, because for real, people don't really get a chance to get to know you.
You got to bring your best foot forward on that first date.
I think he did. No, he did bring his best foot forward. That's just his personality. He's just
he needed
a laissez-faire type of person.
Well, his laissez-faire type of person just took his laissez-faire home.
Yeah.
But it is. You gotta understand. I understand you're trying to find love, but it is still a show. Yeah. And the consequences of the show is that if you don't do what you need to do, you're going home. Mm-hmm. So guess what? You need to bring your best foot forward. You need to be assertive. You need to be who you are, and be yourself. Relax and get to mingle and talk to all these women.
Mm-hmm. So from the preview, it looks like this season is going to be interesting.
Very interesting.
They're not on a resort like they were last time. They're going to be back in real life. And so they're going to be dating outside of there and going to each other's houses and stuff.
Yeah.
They're not wearing no mask, but we know this was during quarantine. Mm-hmm. So the assumption is everybody's gotten tested and is staying safe. So it's going to be interesting. We're going to have some players from the Himalayas.
And we're going to have some people kissing a lot of folks. So, I mean, we're going to see...
That's the player.
Well, we're going to see a lot of previews. We're going to see a lot of interaction with these people. Mm-hmm. So, and we've seen some people have some tears. In the preview, they had tears.
Yeah.
It was crying. So, I think each week when someone gets sent home, it's going to be heartbreaking. Mm-hmm. It's going to be wrenching for us as the viewers and for them, because I think we're going to get really invested into this cast. Mm-hmm. A lot of them have great stories, some backstories, different careers, their personalities. I think this season of Ready to Love will be a decent season. Probably maybe one of the best seasons there have been.
I'm interested to see what goes on with KG, with Chris.
I think everybody's invested in that. I think everybody's invested to see what happens with Chris, or where Chris goes from here. If he finds love, if he doesn't find love, I think everybody's invested in that. I think the longer they keep Chris on the show, and Chris is on this show, the better ratings are.
Yeah, probably.
Because everybody's invested in Chris. So, yeah. But I'm also invested in other contestants too, because I think Alexis has a good story. I think Alexis will be there. Vernicia because
her and Joel.
Yeah.
They hit it off.
They hit it off.
Yeah.
You look at David and Alexis, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, David and Alexis, they hit it off. No, David and Liz. David and Liz hit it off because Liz sung. So David and Liz hit it off. So you're starting to see some connections built, and I think you're gonna see a lot more crossover than we have in the past, because the last couple of seasons, people hooked up early.
Yeah, and they was focused on that.
They was focused on that, and so it was like, why are we even going through this wrestling? We saw the hookups early. Mm-hmm. So I think this one we're gonna have to see a lot of more people, as it is meant to be, going around, mingling and
it's a dating show.
Dating with everybody. So.
Yep. So that's the introduction to the participants for Ready to Love this season. So y'all keep looking for videos for Ready to Love. It's gonna get hot in here.
Get hot in here. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification. Make sure if you're watching this before Sunday night that you check out the U.S. Task Force on Little Black Book 91 as we discuss Married at First Sight. Also check out our Married at First Sight review, and also check out our other videos that we may have. Again, if you hit that bell notification or hit that subscribe button, you'll never miss any of our reviews.
That's right.
So
Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.